Recipe for stovetop steamed rice. My family's kitchen used to cook rice on the stovetop in a Filipino caldero until we got an electric rice cooker, a heavy stock pot of aluminum or cast iron. In the Philippines, my parents' home had a regular tradition of cooking rice. 3 times a day, rice was frequently prepared. In my mother's kitchen, I saw that there were 2 sizes of calderas. The larger one was used to boil wigwag, the normal rice kind. The Milagrosa variation was prepared in the smaller caldera. Wigwag was a less expensive kind of white grain rice that was used for commercial applications or significant culinary occasions. The rice known as Milagrosa was pricey, pure white, and small-grained. When cooked, it released a delicate, fragrant scent. I was raised in Tarlac, a province in central Luzon, which is known as the rice granary of the Philippines since it was here that the majority of the nation's rice was grown. Gualberto Besa, my father, was a farmer who raised rice crops. The greatest food was grown and nurtured in our farms and gardens by him. As you might expect, my dad's trees, vines, bushes, and crops gave our home a constant supply of rice, vegetables, and fruits. At his core, my father was a farmer. He was woken by the sound of our roosters and rose every day at the crack of dawn. He was one of those farmers who could sense the impending arrival of heavy rains simply by gazing up at the clear, blue sky and breathing in the crisp farm air. Over the years, I've heard my parents, my uncles, and my aunts use the Kapampangan dialect, a local dialect in our province, to talk about farming and rice-related words to describe rice, including abayas, rice grains, pale, palay, unhulled rice grains, apa, the palay's hull, nasi, cooked rice, lelet, porridge, suman, sticky rice logs, gagto, badly cooked. No matter where we reside in the globe, if there is one thing that all Filipinos have in common, it is our passion for rice at every meal. Boiling rice is a simple meal with a moderate flavor and pleasant scent that pairs well with the diverse Filipino cuisine. The Tagalog or Filipino word for rice is kanin. Sining na kanin, cooked rice, used to be a common word in our home, especially right before meals. 3 times a day, 7 days a week, I used to stand next to my mother in the kitchen while she prepared meals. Rice was always boiled first during dinner preparation. My first responsibility was cleaning the rice grains, called bigas in our language, as I was not yet permitted to handle the heat or the fire. Bigas is a product of threshing the palay after harvesting and contains husks, black grains, microscopic stones, and dirt. Before cooking, these dirt flecks had to be painstakingly plucked and sifted by hand. This was necessary in order to make cooked rice pure, hygienic, and aesthetically acceptable to everybody. I would pick out the dirt, stones, and husks from the rice grains outside, behind the kitchen, with a huge baleo, round, flat basket. I was eager to start cooking the rice, because I found the chore tedious. Later, when I grew older, my parents gave me a set of little rice clay pots, called a karang-karangan. I prepared real rice outside over logs, using my toy set of pots. I've never more happier with myself than when my pretend cooking produced actual rice that I could eat. Let's jump to the present. From the time when we had to sift through dirt in the bigas, we have gone a long way. Nowadays, there are many different rice kinds available in the marketplaces, and the majority of them are marketed free of any unwelcome stones or dirt. My mother eventually came upon the electric rice cooker, which quickly established itself as a staple in our household. A rice cooker was one of the first items my husband and I bought for our new American kitchen when we came here over 25 years ago. It still functions today. I changed rice cookers as our boys grew since technology advances and keeps providing us with additional high-end product features. Even when we take summer holidays, I bring a rice cooker with me to the beach. That's a different tale for later. However, I still adhere to the traditional methods and frequently prepare rice from scratch on the stovetop, as I was initially taught by my mother, whether a rice cooker is a top-of-the-line model or sings, whistles, or speaks when the rice is done. According to Doreen Gamboa Fernandez, a pioneer in Filipino culinary writing, rice is the deepest comfort meal for Filipinos, and this is undoubtedly true. But for me, one of the most priceless lessons my late mother taught me was how to make rice the first time, and I will always treasure it. On Saturday, October 28, 2017 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific Time, my incredible friend and pastry chef extraordinaire Jenny Field of Pastry Chef Online will be cooking rice live on Facebook as part of the event Cook the Book with Denise and Jenny. I'll be preparing 2 Filipino dishes from my new cookbook, My Mother's Philippine Recipes, Carne Asado Kapampangan and Coconut Leche Flan. Since October is Filipino-American History Month and we celebrate our culture and ancestry in America, this is a significant occasion for Filipino cuisine. You may enter to win 2 of my cookbook giveaways if you share pictures of these recipes and the rice you made with us on Jenny Field's Facebook page, Cook the Book with Denise and Jenny. Come observe as you cook with us. Steamed rice cooked over the stove. I recall learning how to cook rice on the stovetop in a typical stock pot when I was younger. It is alluring to only use an electric rice cooker to cook the rice, letting it do the task flawlessly. However, I've always said to my boys that it doesn't harm to understand the fundamentals since you never know when they can come in useful. Yes, there have been times in my life when I've had to cook rice on the stovetop in an old-fashioned manner. Even my husband, Eli, told us tales of having to learn how to prepare rice over campfires the old-fashioned way when he was a Boy Scout. Here is a straightforward, basic recipe for boiling rice on the stove, regardless of whether you have a rice cooker or not. This recipe was created by Asian Americans. Serves 2 to 4 people. Equipment. Cooking pan, 6 quarts. Ingredients. Jasmine white rice grains in 1½ cups. 3 water cups. Instructions. Rice should be washed twice in running water. Throw away the rice water it rinsed in. Alternately, retain the second batch of Hugs Bigas rice washing and use it as a stock for stew soup. 1 cup of rice grains to 2 cups of water is the ratio for rice. In a 6-quart stock pot that is medium in size, add the rice. For this dish, combine 1½ cups of rice with 3 cups of water. Shut the stock pot lid. In about 10 minutes, the water in the rice will boil over medium-high heat. Turn down the heat to a simmer. For a further 10 minutes of simmering, with the lid on, the rice should puff out to a bigger size, become mushy, and be able to separate when fluffed with a fork. The cooked rice would have soaked up the liquid. 3 cups of cooked rice will be produced by this recipe. When the rice is ready to be served, turn off the heat and cover the pot. To keep warm, serve the rice in a dish.